If you want to save money on your wedding, do not do these. Do not do these things. Hello lovely couples and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren, wedding planner and owner of Bluebird Creative. I provide a weekly dose of wedding planning goodness for the modern couple. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and don't forget to hit the bell so that you'll be notified every week when a new video lands. This week is a hot topic, my friends. I am going to give you 6 tips that if you want to save money on your wedding, do not do these. Do not do these things. Let's go. Okay, so with my 6 tips, they kind of all have a theme, and that is that they are all about quantity. So let me explain by going into the first tip. So our first tip to not do on your wedding day if you are looking to save money is favours. Just don't do them. Favours are lovely, favours can be really personal, and I am a fan of favours, but they also can be left behind on the table. People may just forget about them. They are sometimes an afterthought for couples, and they cost a lot of money because if you are having, say, a 100-person wedding or 150 or more, you're having to buy a lot of these favours that may only cost, say, £3 to £5, but en masse, that is a big chunk of your budget that you could actually put towards your band or the food or the booze or the decor or the flowers, the things that really will impact the day. You need to think to yourself, are these favours going to really impact on the day, and are they going to impact on our guests? If they're not, then don't worry about doing them. If you want to do something really personal that's low cost, then absolutely go for it. And I'm not telling you to not do favours, but they are a big area where you can save money on your wedding by just getting rid of that. Your guests will not mind. They get left behind half the time. People don't have somewhere to carry them or to place them, or they've had a few too many drinks and they leave them on the table and they're forgotten about. And the amount of times at a wedding where I'm tidying up at the end and I'm collecting in the favours that have been left behind, and it breaks my heart that the couple have spent money on that and the guests have sadly forgotten them. Completely in error, no doubt, but it makes me sad. So that is the first area where you really can save some money on your wedding budget. The second one, maybe controversial, I don't know, is invites. Now, I am a huge lover of stationery. Do not get me wrong. I love personalised stationery. But why not spend your stationery budget on the day stationery and make it absolutely beautiful, full of detail, full of love, and totally personalised and all about you and your wedding day? Why not remove having invites to send out in the post? Because again, we're looking at quantity here, guys. The cost per invite may be small, but when we're looking at the amount of guests that you're inviting to your wedding, the cost adds up. Not to mention the cost of postage, which actually a lot of couples tend to forget when they're working out their budget. So it really can add up. You've also got the cost of the envelopes as well as the stationery themselves. Then, as I mentioned, the postage. And if you're adding in RSVP cards or cards with extra information, it really does start to add up. So why not do an e-invite or have a wedding website and then put that stationery money that you've got onto your on-the-day stationery, or keep the money that you've got for the on-the-day stationery and you've saved money on the invites. So that is top tip number 2. Do not have invites if you are looking to save money on your wedding planning. Okay, next tip is your guest numbers. Now, obviously you need to have guest numbers if you're getting married, unless you're going for an elopement, in which case you're probably not going to be watching this particular video. But guest numbers will save you money ultimately, because guest numbers have a massive impact on your wedding day. They will affect the amount of meals that you're serving. They will affect the size of venue that you're paying for. They will affect the amount of tables that you have. Therefore, the amount of tableware, linens, chairs, tables, food, floral centerpieces. Big impact. The amount of drinks that are being served, and so on. It really does have a big impact. That will affect the stationery because of the place names, the menus, the table cards, and so on. Numbers has the biggest impact on your wedding. So if you are looking to save money, the absolute best way to do so is to reduce the numbers on your wedding. Now, we did a video recently on micro weddings, and I will link that for you here, because perhaps if you're looking to save money on your wedding, that could be the option. You could ham it up on the details, micro but mighty, smaller guest numbers, and still have it amazing. So check that video out. My next tip is related to guests as well, and this is the +1. They are not necessary, guys. You do not need to invite somebody to your wedding that you have never met. The person that you are inviting and debating giving a +1, they will be okay. The likelihood of them knowing someone else at the wedding is probably quite high. So you do not need to give them a +1. If you have a friend that has a very new relationship, it's up to you whether you want to invite their partner or not. You do not have to if it's very fresh. If they are engaged, if they are married, you really do need to invite them. If they are single, you definitely do not need to give them a +1 because you're going to have strangers at your wedding. Do you really want to do that? Do you want to be paying out for these strangers for a wonderful meal and a wonderful day and all this stationery and everything else? Probably not. So if you are looking to save money on your wedding day, scrap the +1s. They are not necessary, my friends. Okay, so the next two areas are based more around the food and drink area. So first of all, let's talk about champagne. Champagne is expensive. Why not go for Prosecco or perhaps even a different drink instead of going for champagne for your toasts or for the drinks reception, and you will save yourself a fair bit of money because obviously, again, we're looking at quantity. Every single guest is going to have at least one glass of champagne, unless you're having a dry wedding and there will be a few children and perhaps a few drivers at the wedding. But you catch my drift. A lot of your guests will have a glass of champagne, if not a few glasses of champagne, and they will be having one for the toast as well. So reduce that cost by changing it to Prosecco or changing it to a cocktail or something a little bit different that isn't quite as pricey as champagne. What's that saying? Take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. And finally, my last tip is dessert. Now, I mean, I'm a big lover of dessert, don't get me wrong. Bit of chocolate at the end of a meal, absolutely delicious. But if you're looking to save money, why not do a starter and a main and then offer up the wedding cake as your dessert? So your guests are still getting dessert, but essentially you're not paying out for another dessert. So actually you can save money on a course. Alternatively, you don't have to do a 3-course sit-down meal. You can do a buffet, you can perhaps do street food, you can mix it up, and that will save you money as well. So look into the different food options because again, we're looking at quantity and the amount of mouths that you need to feed on your wedding day. So by keeping the cost per head down, you're essentially saving quite a lot of money. So there we go, guys. There are my 6 top tips for saving money on your wedding day. So if you want to save money on your wedding day, just don't do those. It's as simple as that. There we go, guys. We were quick, we were snappy today. I've given you those tips. Take them away, do what you want with them. I will be back next week with some more wedding planning goodness. And until then, if you haven't already, then make sure you check out all my little links below because I have got so many freebies for you to help you with your wedding planning journey. So go have a look in the description box below and take what you need. Take what you need. They're all there for you. Have a fantastic week, guys, and I will see you next week.